into the room. Be coachable, teachable, trainable. Post your city and state where you are catching today's information from. I am Brand Master Martina Britt Yelverton, and I am truly excited to be here with you guys on today. So today's information that we're going to be sharing, if I can get some of my buttons to act right over here on my end. Good. There's the overlay. Good to go. So today's information that we are actually going to be discussing and sharing with you guys is doing everything right. Yes, but still burned out. What is the missing piece? We're going to discuss that on today because I know where you are. I know how you feel, and you really need to trust and believe that what makes a brand authoritative and why you need it is exactly the reason you need to be available for today's information. This week we are actually in GovCon training. What that means is government contract training to help you guys understand another aspect. So I don't know if you remember, but about a week or so ago, I dropped a couple of nuggets on my live asking you guys what happens in this current economy when the good old dude up in the White House decides to snatch W-2s away from good, well, hard-working people. What happens in small business? What happens in small business when the government decides to snatch W-2s is that people are no longer working. And I don't know if you know, but people who frequent small businesses pay for the content, the products, the information, the access, whatever it is inside of a small business. Typically, when they're first starting out, they're paying for that information, that access, those products, that service with their W-2 income. So what happens to a small business when the government decides to snatch away the W-2 money? Your small businesses suffer because the W-2 worker is not coming in and frequenting them and patroning their business, and therefore their income drops as well. So what I did was I dropped a few nuggets about how you need to position yourself as an entrepreneur out here in these internet streets so that you are available to pivot in this residue of a pandemic. How you're able to pivot is that you must structure yourself accordingly. And one of the ways you can structure yourself accordingly is to set yourself up to get government contracts. If the government is snatching the jobs, but they still have money, then you need to get yourself a good old government contract. And that is what we're discussing this week live during this hour, 1 o'clock. That's why this is pre-recorded, because I don't want those of you who are following the brand, who are following their directive, who may not be interested in government contracts, to miss the education and the training that your brand master provides. So just in case you don't know who I am Brand Master Martina Britt Yelverton, and my daily goal is to brand you, educate you, and to help you get your assets in order so that you can leave a legacy, okay? I'm interested in helping startup and struggling entrepreneurs, startup and struggling entrepreneur males ages 45 to 65, around that 20, that 2-decade range is what I'm seeing is my actual audience. Hey, y'all. Hey, what I'm seeing is that you guys are, struggling. You're going through a little bit of turmoil and you're trying to figure out what is next, how to pivot, how to lead, how to leave a legacy, how to make your money right now. And you're following your girl to get that information. And so I want to help you attract people who need your value. I need to help you understand what your skill set is so you can put that skill set out here so that people can be attracted to you and you can make your money, right? But today we're discussing that you're still burnout. You're doing some of those things. Those of you who are 45 to 65 who got your assets in order, you're doing these things, but you're still burnt out. And here's why, right? You're the face. You're the marketer. You're the admin. You're the coach. So why does it feel like you're still getting nowhere? Your brand just doesn't need to be seen. It needs to be trusted. That's what's missing, the trust factor, right? The trust needs to be built through authority. So in today's session, I want to help you unpack what makes a brand feel credible, magnetic, and expert level, right, to its audience, and how to create that authority without looking loud, without looking pushy, and without constantly being on, right? So if you're ready to lead without burnout, then this is your starting point. You are in the right place. You are where you need to be. Some of the points that I'm going to cover today are what authority means, right, in branding and what it does not, why consistency and clarity build more authority than your credentials. Your credentials are important, but the consistency and the clarity of your message and your value build more authority, right? I'm going to give you guys 3 elements of an authoritative brand. One is going to be the message, next is going to be the visibility or the proof, and the last is going to be the confidence in your offer. I'm going to explain that a little bit further, so stick and stay. And then how to lead with value without overexposing yourself. I'm going to give you some examples as well. So we're opening up this time frame this week strong. We are hitting the ground running, serving, giving you all of this information. So pay attention. Because if you are currently showing up, posting consistently, but you're still not getting traction, your content might be visible, but it's just not authoritative, right? And I want to help you fix that. All right, so let's talk about it. A lot of people confuse visibility with leadership. Please don't do that, right? Just because people see you doesn't mean that they trust you. And just because they see you doesn't mean they know you. And you guys know there's this big thing called the know, like, trust factor. And the reason that you're putting your visibility out here is for awareness. You want people to know who you are. However, just because they see you doesn't mean that they trust you. Your authority is what will turn the viewer into a buyer. Once they actually see you, know you, like you, and trust you, right, consistently, then they're able to see the possibility of you providing a result for them. And that will build the authority of yourself and create the interest for the person to potentially become a buyer. The good news is it's not about being flashy. It's about being clear, proven, and confident. And I say proven, meaning showing the proof, showing the results. Sometimes you just have to give them the end result and allow them then to say, okay, I believe. Sometimes you just have to put it out there. You can't no gatekeepers here. Okay. So here is again what builds authority: clarity, proof, and confidence. I said that to begin with, so I'm going to break that down a little bit further for you. In clarity, in step number 1, your message is easy to repeat. It's easy to understand, and it easily aligns with XYZ. Okay, so when you are available to put your message out there and you are able to make it so that it is repeatable, it becomes repetition. It's easy for someone else to understand what it is and refer you, then that is clarity. Right now, if you ask some of the followers that are available on the multiple channels, what does a brand master mean? Who is a brand master? What does the brand master do? More than likely, they will correlate it with domains, website builds, graphics, and the MLM industry. And that's fine, because the MLM industry, no matter how confused they are, they don't truly understand. They need the domain. They need the subdomains. They need the graphics. They need the websites and the funnels. They need the brand authority. However, they're under the cloudiness of it's all about the MLM's information, and that's wrong. But again, if you ask them who the brand master is, what the brand master does, a lot of those things will come up. Graphics, get your assets in order, clarity with regards to domains, setting up great and amazing graphics, again, websites, funnels, and all of that. And that is exactly the referability that I want them to have. I want to be able to repeat all of that, even if they never say branding, not realizing, again, we are talking about the MLM industry, who only focuses on the product and the services of the company, not themselves the independent distributors. And that's fine. Next is number 2, the proof. You consistently share wins, results, okay, and transformation for yourself and every now and again others. I suggest you do the 80-20 rules with regards to the sharing of that transformation. 80% of the time, you need to be talking about your results. 20% of the time, you can talk about someone else's result. Why? Because people are nosy. They want to know what you're doing. They want to know what it's doing for you. They want to know and be all in your business. So just go ahead and share it, right? The third thing is confidence. You speak about your offers like they work. Why? Because they do, right? If you are available to show the proof of your offer, obviously it works. And that alone should give you more confidence to speak, to be authoritative about the proof of what it is that it works. All right. So let me help you with this. Signs that your brand is gaining authority if you think you're doing those above three things that I just mentioned. People start tagging others in your content. When people start tagging others in your content, then that is their confidence in you and the results that you have shown, and they're trying to get other people's eyes on these results, right? Also, you get a I feel like you were talking to me in the comments, right? You see the things that people say, right up my lane, stepping on my toes, ouch. Here you go again, telling all my business, right? Comments like that lets you know that your brand is gaining authority, that your authority is building. And finally, people reach out with trust, not hesitation. So when people reach out to you, they are beginning to trust you. They don't have any hesitation about sharing your information, reaching out to you, asking their questions. Trust and believe. To follow along this path, you do not need 10,000 followers. You don't need a verified badge that you had to pay for. Investing your money in something you don't need. You don't need a podcast. You don't need an ebook. You don't need paid ads. Let me tell you what my girl King Ashley Ann says. She says, if you can't make money organically, then you shouldn't waste money investing in ads. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. If you can't currently make money organically, then you shouldn't waste money investing in ads. Okay. And I believe that because you need to be able to show the proof that it works before you throw money behind something that you aren't completely confident in. All right. What you need, since I've told you what you don't need, what you need is a repeatable message, a referable message, but a repeatable, referable message. Proof shared weekly, daily, if you want to get bold about it, but belief in your brand's value. All right. So trust and believe. Burnout is happening because you're leading your business without any structure, right? You're all over the place. And when you have the structure, it supports you. When things happen, when things fall to the wayside, when chaos enters your world, when you have to step away from open office hours like today to be able to attend GovCon because you have a structure in place, because you have an outline, because you already know your topics, because you've gone through and you're continuing through your 90-day plan, then you aren't all over the place. You aren't thrown off by life when life be life, okay? Your authority isn't just about your expertise. It's about having operations that do the heavy lifting for you. Let me tell you what helped me shift into this mindset. Number one, it was the entrance of AI, okay? And this technology that is like all over the place and that's going forward. Hate to tell you guys, but we received many warnings that this was coming, all the way back to in the theaters, on the television screens, through your phones, through social media platforms. You've seen hints of AI is coming and you didn't jump on the bandwagon. I suggest you do that now, right? Because the availability for you to delegate your energy and stop doing everything in real time will save your sanity. To document the process of what you're doing using templates, using automations, using scripts will free up your time again for someone else to do the manual processes of your business so you can continue to work on your business, not in it. All right. And then when you decide what success looks like weekly for yourself, removing some of that bad programming, it will give you clarity and remove the chaos. That is what I had to do. I had to delegate so that I could keep some of my good energy, right? We are at the very tail end of the last two graduates who graduated in December, who've received their transcripts. As of this month, they are done and done. We are just waiting for the diplomas to come in the mail. Then your girl, in about 2 weeks, is the full-blown finished up. We done with that. Mother of 4 grown crumb snatchers. And I'm excited about it, right? But I'm also wondering what's next, right? So being able to pay attention to the trend and go ahead and hop in and learn and coach and teach and train even on AI gave me back some of my energy. I was able to delegate those manual things into an automation. Don't be afraid of AI. Can't do more than you tell it to do. Now, once you tell it to do it, it's a whole lot that it could potentially do. But who knew the internet was going to do what it's doing now? Who knows where AI is going? Just be safe, but don't miss the boat. All right? Delegate your energy, document your processes, and decide what success looks like for you weekly and daily if you want to, right? Now, I know the first thing that's coming to your mind is, but I don't have a team. You maybe even saying, I don't have the tools. Let me help you reframe that real quick, fast, and in a hurry. You don't need a team. You need a systemized routine. You don't need a team, right? You see your girl doing things, branding. You will begin to see the rollout of the government contract arm. You've already seen the rollout of youth lifestyle training, and you will be seeing how that now parlays into seniors, veterans, and military. You will see all of that. I don't have a team. I got my assistant Susan, ChatGPT. I have my youth lifestyle trainees when they decide to act right, okay? And I have my entire systemized routine. My girl, Bridget Bartlett, is revamping and showing us the ease of her 4-hour workday that keeps her well employed. Well, what is the word I'm looking for? Well above average in income. You know, I don't want to read her pockets or spill her pockets, but she is a 6-figure earner with no team on a 4-hour workday. And I mean only 5 days a week, if that. Okay? You don't need a team. You just need a systemized routine. So I want to go ahead and get this wrapped up and closed out. We've been at our almost 20-minute mark, but I know there's some hesitation that may be going on in your mind, and you may be thinking still branding is a little unclear. Then my bad, I apologize. I've done the best that I can to help you understand that a brand is you. However, when you have questions that come up like that, then you need to be inside of the community. While we're not live this week doing open after office training, what you can do still is go ahead and join the community. You can come on over to community.martinabrityelverton.com. You can jump on in with us, okay? And you will be able to watch and learn and ask your questions, because generally when people are asking questions inside the community, I immediately go and develop an education, a training, a walkthrough, or some kind of video response to that, so that not only does that individual that asked the question get the answers that they need, but I also make sure that all of you that didn't know you needed to ask the question have the answers as well. And I do that primarily inside of the community. If you're looking on all of the different social media platforms, you may miss it. That's why it's organized inside of the community. And inside of the community, you get checklists and cheat sheets that go along with the video walkthroughs so that you can make sure you're following the blueprint in the correct order, helping to avoid your missteps, your hiccups, your bumps and bruises. That is the reason the community exists. And you also may find an accountability partner that's in there that could help you as well. All right. So I would love it if you would follow these next steps and you would answer the CTA question of the day. And that is, what is one thing that your audience needs to believe about you in order to shift and trust you or your offer? Think about that, right? And I want you to ask, if I go and review my last 5 posts, are the posts that I'm putting up building authority, or is it just activity? And I understand if you're in the awareness stage and you're putting the content out there in the awareness stage, but there's still a way to ask for engagement and try to follow your blueprint when you're building awareness. But just ask yourself, when you put something out, when you look at those last 2 or 3 or 5 posts, is it building authority or is it just activity? And if you find that it is just activity, then go ahead and pick that one and rewrite it with more clarity, proof, or confidence, and share it out again. Tag a couple of people and ask them, do they see the difference? Right? That will help you understand, and you will be able to see the difference in what you previously said that was just activity and what you are now putting out there that's building authority. Again, on today, we are not okay, and after office hours live. We are building and attending and learning over in GovCon this week. So if you would please, and I thought I had put a sting. I did not. I promise you I thought I did. I did. Here it is. There we go. Let me take myself off the screen. I look kind of funny all down there. Again, due to a training conflict, that's because we out here as a mentor being mentored, right? There will be no after office hours live today because we are in GovCon and you are invited. So if you want to know more about GovCon and you're interested in government contracts, then come on over to govcon.martinabrityelverton.com. Join us in the 5-day challenge this week and go ahead and get your information. You guys know that when replays are offered, because your girl always does VIP, when replays are offered, I'll make sure that you get access to that as well. So thank you for your time on today. I really appreciate that. Tomorrow's topic that we're actually discussing is your content isn't building trust, it's just filling time. And we're going to show you how you can do what? How you can fix that. I hope you'll join me for that time. I'm excited to share this information to you, and I appreciate your attendance on today. Remember, if you like this information, look below. Go ahead and click that bell to get notifications, and if you are not subscribed, do that now. Hey y'all, hey, Brandmaster Martina Britt Yelverton here, giving you the latest update about our daily Get Your Assets in Order and Brand You series. Join me live each and every Tuesday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for actionable steps on brand building for beginners, current client revisions, and watch as we level up brands in 2025. We are covering everything from tools, tips, strategies, and systems like Canva, StreamYard, high-level AI automations, and more. These will take you from confused to confident. So after each live stream, you can hop on Zoom with us to ask your questions and get personalized answers. If I were you, I wouldn't miss out. Mark your calendars and subscribe now to our YouTube channels. Join our free communities, and I'll say it louder for the people in the back. If you want to learn, lead, and level up as a struggling entrepreneur, we have the solution, the systems, and the experts. Our entire team is live each and every weekday at 12 p.m., 1 p.m., and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you can lunch and learn. If you snooze, you will lose. I said what I said. You heard what you heard. Now do what you know you need to do to get your assets in order.